Hello friends, we welcome you once more to another video of our videos on the program that we are rolling out at Alef Innovations on personal development. Now we have done the other videos that were 10 of them. We came back, we did the paradigm of our personal development, where we said that our personal development, we view it as in being in three stages. We said that we have got our view that there's the first stage of personal development, which we said are spiritual laws of spiritual development, where we said these are laws of things that we have no control over. That is why we call them spiritual, because they are laws that are guided by a super being who created all of us, who is responsible for our being a part of life. And then we say the second stage of our personal development is the cultural laws. We say that as human beings, we live in communities. When we come together and become a community, when we are together as a community, there are ways that we agree as the best practices that we are going to conduct ourselves by. And these practices, when we practice them over time, they then become a culture. So there are things that we hold valuable, there are things that we will hold sacred, there are things that we will treat in a certain way. They form part of the culture. Amongst those things are ways and means that help develop us, that are part of personal development. We looked at the laws of cultural aspects of personal development. We said there are 4 of them. Today we're looking at the third aspect. Now, before we get to the third aspect of our paradigm on personal development, here is what I want us to talk about first. I want us to look at the word that we keep referring to. There are these things that we call laws. What is the law? When we talk about laws, we're talking about guidelines. We are talking about regulations. We're talking about conduct that defines behavior. So when people come together, they can come up with laws that they agree on, that this is how we are going to do certain things. When we are eating, we will have our laws of how we behave when we sit on the dinner table. So the one who created us, the one who is responsible for the life that we are leading, the one who is responsible for our existence, there are laws that he has given us. And these laws, there's nothing we can do to change them or to alter them. We spoke about our origins. We said that there's no one who chooses where they come from. We spoke about our identity. We said that there's no one who chooses the family where they are born from, the tribe where they are born into. We said nobody chooses even their skin pigmentation. We are born, we find ourselves as part of humanity in that form. We said that when we are created, we are given the ability to form relations with other people. We don't pick and choose how we behave as we form these relations. We say that we have got an ability to act out the things that we think, the confidence that we have. We don't choose it. It's something that we have. It's inborn, it's in us. We spoke about the natural skills that each person has. And we said no one chooses the natural skills that they have. We're born with those. So these are the laws that we are saying guide personal development. So we then are saying, as communities, when we come together, out of the culture that we develop as a community, we also have cultural laws that affect our personal development. So today we're looking at something else. So we now understand what laws are. There are laws that we cannot have, that are not guided by our preferences, that are not guided by our choices. These are our spiritual laws. There are laws that are guided by the choices that we make, the things we prefer to do, the lifestyle that we lead. That's a separate thing also altogether. Now today we are looking at the third segment of our paradigm on personal development. So our paradigm on personal development, it's broken into 3 parts These parts are the spiritual laws. There is personal development in the spiritual realms, things that control the person that you become, the way that you conduct yourself, things that you have no control over. And then there is the second segment of culturally, how we culturize ourselves, how we live, how we survive as a community. Now, the third aspect, it's just one law. This law is called the Socioeconomic Law of Success. What do we mean when we're talking about this law? Now, when people form into a community, within the community, they are natural and acquired resources. So these resources, we then manipulate them. We then utilize them. We then, out of these resources, are able to fund, to finance our daily needs. We all have needs. So the needs that we have, we're able to take care of these needs through the resources that we have. So we have natural resources. Your natural resources, we're talking of minerals that are underground. We're talking of land where we're able to plow, plant, and harvest food that we eat. We're talking of the sea, which is the water. In the sea, we have got the ocean economy. We use the sea for transportation. We use the sea for various other reasons. And we also fish from the sea. We get food from there. There is also tourism that happens in the sea. So there's a lot of activities that we do. It is a resource, a natural resource. We also find gas and oil in the sea, right? So there are minerals that we also find from the sea. Amongst our natural resources also are the animals, the landscape for tourism purposes, right? We then have acquired resources. Acquired resources, it will be us human beings. We are also a resource. When we come together, we are a resource. So the natural resources, the acquired resources, all these resources, because where we live as organized communities. We then appoint governments, and the government that we appoint to help us coordinate our activities, coordinate our lives, government then comes in with laws and regulations of how we exploit these resources that we have. How do we utilize these resources that we have? So when we are now utilizing these resources for our survival, we then come up with these two things that we then bring together. We come up with a society which has got its own social ways of living and doing things. But this society relies on economic activities. So you have the society, you have the economic activities. When we bring these together, then we have the socio-economic environment. In the socio-economic environment, what is happening there is the distribution of resources. How do we distribute resources within the socio-economic environment? This then becomes a law on its own. How do we distribute resources? So the socio-economic environment is a very interesting law. It's just one. And it's a very interesting law because there is the natural in it. There is what we can even lean back and try and align it with our spiritual laws. But also there is the cultural aspect. So the socio-economic environment is a law that brings together the spiritual and the cultural, but it becomes a law on its own. Because when we are distributing these resources, when we are utilizing these resources, we have a way of doing it, which is a law, which is defined by a particular behavior. So we come up with governments in organized societies. We come up with governments. in modern communities. We come up with the leadership. We come up with the people who guide us, people who lead us. And you will find, even when it comes to our community development, as a community, remember the 4 pillars that we spoke about, which we said are the ones where a community hinges on the pillars that hold a community. We spoke about culture, we spoke about society, we spoke about the environment, we spoke about the economy. We said these are the 4 pillars where a community hinges on. So these 4 pillars, they are also part of this socio-economic environment. It is in this environment where resources are then now distributed. Now, when we started, when we were talking about the spiritual laws, we're talking about you, the individual. When we came back and spoke about the cultural laws of success, it was also not very difficult, because we are talking about you empowering yourself, developing yourself as an individual, right? But now when we come to socio-economic laws, it becomes a bit of a challenge, because now we are talking of contestation of resources. These resources, they are contested. We fight for them. This is how we ended up with things like colonialism in the world. Some people came from afar. Wherever they came from, they came because they had seen resources in another area. So they came and they colonized the people of that area so that they can take the resources of that area. But the law of socio-economic environment says where there are resources, they must be distributed. So distribution has got to happen in a certain way. You cannot just distribute. You cannot take resources and just throw them at people. There must be a way that you distribute these resources. Is it equitable? Is it fair? Is it sustainable? Does it make sense? Now, this is where we begin to have problems. But if we go back and look at where we are coming from with our personal development paradigm, we are saying any individual is important in life because they have a skill that they are going to be performing, because the community relies on them. Remember our definition of success, we said you are only successful if you are being useful to your community. Now we are coming to the third segment, and we are saying the socio-economic environment law now says there are resources within the community. We have identified you as a created being. We have identified you as useful in your community. Now we are saying with your usefulness, there are resources which are natural and acquired that should help you do the things that you want to do. It is normal for anyone to have a piece of land where they will build a home, where they are going to have a roof over their head. It is normal for anyone to have a piece of land where they are going to plant food that they are going to eat. It is normal for anyone to have somebody else who can help them execute their duties. If you are a mechanic and your gift is in fixing things that have broken down, fixing cars that have broken down as a mechanic, you need someone who has a car who drives so that you can fix their car. You need someone who owns a car so that you can fix the car. So the socio-economic environment then says, with your natural gifts, the cultural laws then come in and also say, with the way that we have developed you, groomed you to be this person that you are, here are the resources. Let us equitably distribute these resources so that everyone has got access to them, so that everyone is successful. Now, we are talking about personal development. If you are not aware of the resources that your environment has, natural or acquired, then you haven't started developing yourself. Personal development will elude you. Leading a successful life is going to elude you because you don't understand, you don't appreciate the environment that is supposed to groom you. So the final law, the final paradigm of personal development says you must be aware of your natural and your acquired resources. So we said natural resources, we explained them. Acquired resources, these are the people that are around you and the skills and expertise that they possess. There is someone who has a skill that will unlock the door to your success. You must know who that person is. You must know how they unlock that door to your success. 3 things that will make you lead a successful life. Understand the spiritual things that you don't control, things that have to do with your life that you have got no say over, but they are there. Know them, understand them, and know how to take advantage of them and use them intelligently. Secondly, your community, your society, it is a way of upskilling you, of building you, of helping you become a better person. There are structures within your community that are meant to support you, to support your ideals, to support your ideas. Know them. Finally, your environment, where you are, where you live in, where you survive in, your environment has got natural and acquired resources. What are those resources? There are also people who are a resource in your life. Who are they? What resource do you need in order for you to execute yourself and to do well and succeed in whatever it is that you are doing? Know who those people are. Know what that environment is. That is the Socioeconomic Environment law. It calls for you to know your natural and acquired resources and know how to utilize them. It takes us back to activism. Unless you are actively involved in this establishment of rules, of policies, of laws that support your personal development, then you are not going to go anywhere. So these are our three segments of personal development. But if you want us to help you understand these in detail, if you want us to take you through these laws, looking at your individual life and seeing how we can help you lead a successful life, contact us at Alef Innovations, www.alefinnovations.com. Go to our website, go to our contact us page, fill in your details. We will get back to you. We are running this program. It is still at a special fee of 100 rands per session. There are 10 sessions. We'll take you through the program. After 10 days of going through this program, I can assure you will not be you will not be the same person anymore. You are going to be a different person who is leading a successful life. Watch out our website, our social media pages. We are going to be running specials. You may come across a program that can even give you this personal development program at even half the price. You will never know. But otherwise, until we meet again in the next video, enjoy the rest of your day.